Hello everyone, welcome back to Time Out. I'm Dee. So today I wanted to talk about how to sustain your mental health in a very chaotic world. So everybody's experience is different. Everybody's story is different. So everybody has whatever it is that is going on with them in their world. And without having to talk about so many people, I think it's just best for me. I just wanted to talk about myself and how I've tried to maintain sanity in my world. Do you understand? So I want to talk about my world. Most of these videos I started talking about narcissism a lot because that was my story. That was my personal experience. I don't know if I should use the word was, but anyway, it was really, because that was my personal experience. Most of those stories are my stories. You know, sometimes I know I come on a video and I'm like, oh, okay, this happened to, because sometimes I don't want to keep saying, okay, this is my story, but that's what I've had to deal with. You know, that's over the years I've had to deal with a lot of narcissism, a lot of narcissistic abuse, a lot of smear campaigns, a lot of gang stalking. You know, it's what I've had to deal with over time. And well, right now I want to believe I'm dealing with it. I'm trying to check it. So basically, how do I maintain my sanity in my chaotic world? Okay, so for me, it started from, I've mentioned this several times. It started from the pandemic time, and for the first time, you know, in that time where you couldn't reach out to people, you couldn't go visit people, being alone helped me, because then I had to sit back and start to see everything that was wrong. Do you understand? And I was forced to work on it. So at this point, it's not like I wasn't running around, because normally that's what I do. I would run around like a headless chicken, just run around. I wasn't really doing anything for myself. Do you understand? I never really did anything for myself, because even when I wanted to stay home, then I remembered, oh, I had plans with so person, I have to meet up with this person, I have to meet up with that person. So I was constantly running around trying to please people, trying to make everybody happy. So I wasn't doing it for myself. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like it was bad or I was doing anything so wrong. It's just I wasn't doing it for myself, basically. And I figured that out the hard way. Like I said, as bad as the pandemic was, for me, it was a time for a lot of revelation. It was a time for a lot of sitting back to going within, basically looking inwards and see what I was doing wrong. Why was I always in this certain kind of situations? Like, okay, let me break it down here. I've gone through series and series of gang stalking, of smear campaigns. Like, I'm not even kidding. Hey, smear campaign is something I've always had to deal with. It's crazy. Like, at some point I started to think like maybe I had like an evil twin that was doing all these things and people like literally thought it was me. It was bad. It's always been bad. It's something I'm still dealing with even as of today. But the difference between now and back then is that right now I'm in a place of rest. I've found my comfort zone. Do you understand? I've found my peace. I've found my personal truth. And the thing with gang stalking is that it's all lies and everything. So if you do stand in your truth, no matter how long it takes, no matter how long the lies go around for, the truth will always come out eventually. Because imagine if you stand in your truth and people say, she's this, she's a hoe, she's this, she's, and really, you know, everybody else can see that you're actually not, or whatever it is. Do you understand? Eventually the lies will expire. So I realized that to deal with whatever it is I was going through, I really had to stand in my personal truth. That's what got me to this point of actually doing all these videos. And you know, for me, this video is very healing. very healing. Most of these things are things I have gone through. So when I work it out in my head, as I work it out in my head, I put it out in a video because I'm just hoping. I don't know who else might be going through. I know everybody's going through something, but each person's experience is peculiar to them. This is very, very peculiar to me. And believe me, I used to be like the queen of running from pillar to post. Like, I didn't understand what was going on with my life. It's like, you know, it was just constant. It was there all the time. I didn't understand exactly what was going on. Do you understand? So I would run from pillar to post. Like, every time they said, oh, this is the new prayer place, or this is the new place where the prayer is happening, I would run there and, do you understand, and try to pray it out and try to do this and try to do that. But you see, the funny thing about life is you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and again and expect a different result, right? If you've prayed about something so much, then start to check yourself. Do you understand? Check yourself. Maybe there's something you're doing wrong. Well, that's what I did anyway. I started to check myself, like, okay, maybe there's something I'm doing wrong that is bringing these things into my life. And in checking yourself, I mean, a lot of people are not going to, you're not going to be popular with people. A lot of people are not going to like you, because most of the time when you do decide that you want to check yourself, what I've had to do is detach from people, places and things. I've had to detach from everything. Because imagine, think about it. Like, I couldn't even point fingers to people, and that's what things like gang stalking or smear campaign, that's what it does to you. Like, imagine people that are normally very good to other people, but when it comes to me, it's like I get close enough to people and then something triggers it. Now, don't get me wrong, like this thing, I realized after a while that it's like an energy. Do you understand? Whatever would happen, I mean, everything will start off great. Friendships, everything will start off really, really great, and then we'll get to a point where somebody will just turn on me for no reason at all, or whatever it's, or I think is no reason. I might have done something that would trigger it, do you understand? But I realized that, you know how the devil works, it's usually somebody that is close enough for them to be able to do the job for them. I don't know if that makes any sense. Do you understand? Like, I say to people, like, the devil is not with horns and tails and whatnot. It's an energy. Do you understand? It's an energy. So most of the time when the devil wants to come at you or whatever it is, anybody can take over, anybody can take form of that energy. Because what I've noticed is, look, I've complained about, initially what I used to do is, oh yeah, this person did this to me, that person that to me, that person. What they have in common is me. I'm the common denominator. So obviously they're not the problem, I am. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I am the problem. I realized that I was the problem because I was the common denominator. And the truth is that whenever I point fingers like, okay, this person did that to me, that person, those people are probably great to other people. But in my situation, something triggers it. It's like an energy or a force or whatever it is will trigger something in them, and they will turn on me. Like, let me give you a good story, right? This thing I have been dealing with since like forever. Like, okay, there was a time I was like really young. So I had this friend. I mean, being at a young age, I mean, before I was shipped off to college or whatever it is, I mean, I had, my mother was like a mother hen, so you couldn't even walk around within the house premises and stuff. You couldn't go anywhere, literally. So we're indoors. Basically, if you want to go somewhere, she would get someone to take you and then bring you back and all those kind of things. So I didn't have friends like that. I mean, I had friends, but maybe like at summer school or whatever it is. But I had this neighbor, like, that was my, like, you know, I had another friend, a female, that were very close as well. Do you understand? Because she was female, she was allowed into my house. But the other one was actually male. Like, I'm feminine, right? Outwardly, but deep down, I'm like a tomboy kind of thing. Anyway, I know it's hard to believe, but I really am. So, but good thing is that I balance it quite well, because I'm actually quite feminine as well, but deep down, because mostly because I grew up with brothers, really. So, I can be a tomboy, let me put it that way. So I had this friend down the road. I mean, the most contact we've ever had, maybe like we're crossing the road and he's holding my hand, basically like hold my hand so help me cross the road or whatever it is. But we're really close, we're really tight, and because their house was just like a few blocks down the road, do you understand? So there was this day, a friend from from high school came to visit me. So I was like, okay, you know what? I've got to go see my friend. Let's go see my friend together. So we went to see my friend, and we're all there. We all chilled, had fun. Now imagine somebody that I wake up and that's the first place I want to go to, and like everybody knew this was like my best friend ever. So all of a sudden, he just stopped talking to me for no reason at all. I was wondering, like, what did I do wrong? Like, what happened? Then I later found out that he was dating my friend, and I'm like, okay, so even if you're dating my friend, does that mean, do you understand? I mean, we're not dating, so if you met my friend and you like my friend, that's not a big deal. So I didn't even understand what was going on. So I think, but I missed him. You know, he was my best friend, so I really missed the friendship, and it was very hurtful. I mean, the way he just cut off and everything, it was extremely hurtful. So I think his brother, you know, I wasn't that close to the brother initially. Then I later got really close to the brother, because I think he just like felt bad for me, like, okay, this girl that has nobody to talk to anymore. And my other friend had her own group of friends as well, so I mean, I didn't get to see her as much. So the brother would hang out with me and everything, and you know, so I was shipped away to college, and then one day I got an email from him, and he was apologizing, like, I'm so sorry, I heard this, I heard that about you, I heard you're this, I heard you're that, I heard you're this, I heard you're that. And I'm like, I mean, the friendship could never be repaired, because in my head I was thinking to myself, you know, like I live in like literally like a very sheltered life, right? The only place, if I'm not with my other friend, I'm with you, like 24/7. So at what time was I able to do all these things? Do you understand? For some reason, maybe he didn't even think about it. I don't know what happened, but he was just apologizing, and it was really difficult to forgive. I mean, I had to eventually, but the friendship was already broken. And a series, I've had to go through series of these things, and I mean, that's my world, and that's the story that was peculiar to me. So, I mean, it's so bad sometimes, like, I would literally hear some things about myself, and I'm like, what? I'm serious. Okay, like, I'm from the western part of Nigeria, right? Like, Yorubas, like, Yorubas, we exclaim a lot, like, she gets. So, like, I would hear some things about myself, like, what just happened? When did I do this? Do you understand? Like, it's really bad. Like, Yorubas, like, no offense, we get scared easy. I mean, we love Yoruba people, like, from the western part of Nigeria, like, they love education. Like, an average Yoruba would have like maybe like 10 PhDs. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm exaggerating or whatever it is. But Yorubas, that's what they love. They love to educate themselves. They love education and all that. In the eastern part of Nigeria, the Igbos, they're like business minded. Like, Yorubas are they love education, but they almost have no courage. No, because not that they don't, but a typical Yoruba person like hears boom and they would. A Yoruba person is like, they're running, like they would run, jump in the ocean, jump. They haven't seen where the noise is coming from. It's probably a tire or something, do you understand? Or an inflated tire or whatever it is that blew up, but they would run. Now look at the Igbos, like the eastern part, like they're so business minded, like they love that shit. Like if Yorubas are running, they're thinking, how can I sell you a scooter to run even faster? Do you understand? Like, if you want to run, I'm going to sell you a scooter. Like, everything is like business for them. Do you understand? Now, people from the north in Nigeria, like, they have courage. Whenever people shout something, they're like, they face the war zone. They're like, they want to know. And like the Igbo people being so business minded, whilst they're selling scooters to Yoruba people to run faster, they would go to the Hausa guy like, nah, dude. Do you need like a dagger or cutlass to go and fight that war? Do you understand? So everything is monetary terms for them. Do you understand? The northerners, they're very courageous. They tend to face. So anyway, I was just digressing a bit. So I'm kidding anyway. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, sometimes I would hear things about myself and I'm like, what the? Do you understand? Like, I've heard so much. I have heard so much. It's been crazy. It's been, my world is, I mean, the worst thing I can do to anyone is wish them half of what I've been through. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And for me, the way I've been able to curb it is I've had to detach from people, places, and things. I've had to detach. And I had to build up a wall. Like, The walls I built up, the invisible walls, are like that high, really, really high.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope everybody's doing well tonight.
Because, sorry about that. So, yeah, I've had to build up a very, very high walls because, like I said, I realized I wasn't fighting people. I wasn't. It was like an energy. It was like a force. I mean, a cousin of mine actually said to me that why is it that once you get close to people, it's like they turn on you and things just start to happen. I mean, initially I never used to take it very seriously, right? Until someone was lying about me to my face. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, lying to my face about me. In my head, I'm thinking, you do realize you're talking to me, right? You're talking about me. I mean, okay, let me tell you. So this is like, for someone I'm really, really close to, like, I mean, this person is a darling to everybody. And was to me as well. I mean, and this thing does not really stop our friendship for me. Relationships, I mean, my relationships, it starts up great. All of a sudden, it's like the moment I say to myself, okay, let me relax, I'm actually in a relationship, the monster comes out. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, not all relationships, I'm just saying. It's just something I've had to deal with over and over and over. So like I was saying, so this person was like a very, very, very close friend of mine. But I started to pick up something like when he's, a male, do you understand? When he's with people, with friends, and I would call to ask about something or whatever, he would be like very standoffish, it was like giving me attitude or whatever it is. Then so I would get angry about it and then try to discuss it with him, and the next thing or sometimes I'll just get angry and not even talk to him, and the next thing I would hear is, oh, you're jealous because I did this, you're jealous of this, and I'm thinking, you realize you did something wrong to me. And every time I try to argue, and imagine going back and forth, like arguing and saying, oh, when I called you yesterday, why were you giving me attitude? Why are you acting funny? And then the story turns to, oh, she likes me. She likes me too much. And it's just having to deal with a series of so many things. Even now, I'm still dealing with gang stalking. It's just, like I said before, the difference between now and then is that I found my peace. I had to detach. I had to detach from people. I had to detach from everything. Do you understand? I had to detach because, it got to a point where I'm having conversations and people would press record. It's like, that girl people love to hate for whatever reason. And I know it's not people. It's not the people, because how many people do you want to point fingers at? Literally. Do you understand? It's not the people. It's an energy. So I was fighting something bigger than myself. So the way I could maintain my sanity was to go into a place of prayer, was to go into the presence of God. So it's now like I'm resting. I mean, the chaos is going on right now. Like I said, I'm actually dealing with gang stalking, smear campaign. How do I know? I've dealt with it so many times that I know, I recognize it even before it happens. I recognize it when I say it. Like, once you speak to like 2-3 people and they're saying almost the same thing, kind of, it won't come out in the same words, but it's like you're talking to the same person in different people, if it makes any sense. So you would know. I mean, if it's something you've experienced before, you would definitely know that this is what is happening again. Do you understand? So every time it happens, so I know I'm going through it, but like I said, it's different now because I found my peace. I have found my place of peace, and I've built so many walls around me. And you see, the funny thing is that it's almost like when it clears off, then the same people will turn around and say, oh, she's so selfish, she doesn't pick up calls, I am selfish. I have to be. Sometimes our journeys are different. I have realized that my journey requires me being alone. I'm not saying alone like not have a relationship, or it just requires me going solo, because I'm one of those people, like, I was grooving in a world that I didn't understand, if that makes any sense. I was maneuvering in a world I had no street sense. I still don't. No street sense whatsoever. So other people will do stuff and they will get away with it. They'll have their escapades and they'll have fun and they'll get away with it. If I have ESCA, not paid, I'm just on my way to like ESCA. Do you understand? Everybody will turn around, oh, and point fingers. Oh, she did this, she did that, she's such a bad person. I'm thinking, the People talking you've done 100 times worse. Like, why is my own situation so different or so vague or so, do you understand? And it would be blown bigger than what it is. I mean, imagine I would if I went on a date or whatever and I just had lunch, then somebody maybe that I haven't seen since I was a baby would go to somebody else. Oh, I know her well. Oh yeah, she was in this restaurant when, she was in this restaurant at this time, and in that restaurant there's a hotel, and trust me, I know how well she went to the hotel. And if the other person says, oh, how did you know she actually went into the hotel? Then that's how the smear campaign starts, because it's like Chinese whispers. You have to say something to make it sound juicy. Like, are you kidding me? I actually saw her. I saw her going to the hotel. In fact, she was there for like 5 days. And the person's like, okay. So the person goes to give another person the gist and is like, did you hear? She was actually with this person in the hotel for like 5 days. How did you know she was there? Are you kidding? Not wanting to say, somebody told me, are you kidding? In fact, I drove past the hotel. I saw her outside in just a shirt and her panties. Oh yeah. And this is the story of my life, basically. So the only way I could maintain my sanity is, I mean, if I'm not talking to you, if I'm not talking, if I'm not close enough, then there's no story to tell, if that makes any sense. Because you see, I'm one of those like very open people. I don't know how to hide so much. I don't know how to hide my stuff so much. So I mean, I've had to really cut back on a lot of things, because I've had to look at who I am and the best way I could maneuver in my world, if that makes any sense. So you know, I don't know how to hide stuff so much. Like, some people would literally, you would live with them and not even know their names, their real name. I'm not like that. I'm like, after the first hour I spend with someone, okay, yeah, I can maintain my silence and not say stuff. After the second hour, I'm like, I start to say like little bits. After the third hour, I've forgotten myself and I'm like just talking blah, 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 blah. And it's always used against me. I mean, it got to a point where I would have a conversation with people and they would record it just so that, yes, I've got her, look at her. I probably said it in as a joke or whatever it is. I don't know. Do you understand? And it just goes on and on and on like that. So the best way I could cope with this thing was detach. Just pull back. I hardly speak to people. I spend a lot of my time alone, and the truth is that I realize that is actually the real me. That is who I am. So I wasn't even trying to pretend and not just not wanting to speak, and no, it is who I am. I enjoy it. In fact, I need more hours in a day, basically. But that's my story. And it has been a journey. It's not been easy at all. The worst thing I could wish for anybody is said, okay, you know what, you'd go through half of what I've been through. I'm still going through as well, but like I said, I'm in a place of rest. I'm in a peaceful place. And this videos for me is healing. So I just wanted to say to anybody that has ever liked my videos, that has ever listened, I just want to say thank you. You have been a big part of my journey to healing, and I'm still healing. I'm going to leave the walls up, because now I have to vet who I talk to, who I bring into my space. I have to vet it, not because anybody is bad, but because I have to protect myself. And that's my story. Other people go through different things. Mine is usually smear campaigns, lies, hella lies. I mean, lies that I'll go like, okay, I don't know, was that in my past life? Did I do that in my past life, or am I just doing it now? Yeah. And like I said, I know this sort of things people would usually run to, like, I mean, this is things like proper ordained men of God or women, of God. These are things like I should be speaking to them about. But like I said, I used to be a queen of running from pillar to post. But when you keep doing that, after a while, you should really start checking the things in your life that can be bringing those sort of things into your life. Like, for me, it might not even be something I've done. It might be like a past life karma, like maybe ancestral stuff. Do you understand? I don't know. But I do know this, that ever since I found my personal truth, and I just went back to God. Like, okay, you know what? Like the prodigal child, I'm back. I've surrendered. I don't have anybody else to run to, because after a while they get triggered. Now I've gone to God. So I've had peace. And people get worried about me, like, oh, she's isolating herself. No, I'm actually at peace. But I'm healing. I am healing on a daily basis, and it's a journey for me. And like I said, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's been a part of my healing journey. And I'm trying. It's the only way I can keep my sanity. In my silence, in my going solo at it, in my being by myself. It's the only way I've been able to keep silent. And for anybody, I mean, let me just recommend my favorite song I play daily. I mean, or especially when I feel down. It's this song by Andra Day or something. I'll rise up. I mean, excuse my voice. It goes something like I rise up, rise like the waves. I rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. It keeps me up. It keeps me going. I mean, I just finished listening to it now. I just dedicate that song. Listen to the words. If you are going through anything, I play it daily. I sing it out loud and I scream it on top of my voice, and I feel better. So when you're trying to keep your sanity, maintain your sanity in your world, you're not going to be very popular with people. You're not going to, because you're going to have to do it alone. It's not anybody else's journey. It's your journey. It's my journey. Do you understand? So it's your journey. You just have to find a way to maintain your peace. My way was having to detach from everything and just going solo at it. Anyway, I do love you all. So that's my little story. Thank you. God bless you. Have a lovely week. Namaste.